Hello friends, warm welcome to all of you to my channel.
Welcome to the session of mainframe tricky interview questions for JCL. Okay, moving to the next slide. Question number 5 says, in the following code snippet will step 3 execute. So in this JCL you can see there are 3 steps. First step is executing a sort. We are assuming that step 1 ends with return code 0. Step 2 executes a COBOL program and a condition is mentioned there. We are assuming the step, that is stp02, abends. Step 3 executes the utility program ibgener and 2 conditions are clubbed here. So what will happen in this case? So the answer says the step 3 will not execute. In step 3, though the step 2 abends and as per cond equal to only, the step should execute, the condition 0 eq step 1 is satisfied. So step 03 is bypassed. So the thing is, if you have multiple conditions clubbed into a single condition parameter, then even if one condition is satisfied and the other 2 or 3 or 4 fails, still the step will be bypassed. Okay, so moving on to the next slide, that is question number 6. It says, can cataloged procedure contain sysint dd statements, that is in stream data? The answer is no. You can supply a control card name in the procedure, which is essentially a data set, and it can contain the sysint dd statements. Inside the proc, you can refer to that control card. Okay, moving to the next slide, question number 7. It says, how many maximum steps the cataloged procedure can contain? The answer is 255 steps. So there can be a maximum of 255 exact statements inside a cataloged proc. Okay, moving to the next slide, question 8. It says, is pass disposition a valid disposition for abnormal termination of job? The answer is no. Rest all dispositions like cat lg, uncat lg, delete and keep are common dispositions for both normal and abnormal termination of jobs. Okay, moving to the next slide, question 9. It says, can you identify from space equals trk comma 3 comma 5 comma 5 comma rlsc release what kind of data set is being created or is being referred here? So here a new data set is being created and the space parameter is specified like this. We have to identify which kind of data set is being referred here? The answer is PDS. Here you can see in the space parameter after TRK 3 is mentioned. This 3 refers to the directory block applicable for PDS only. If it would have been a PS file, then the 3 should have been omitted. Then it should read TRK, 5, 5, then release RLSE. Okay, moving to the next slide. Question 10 is also related to the space parameter. So under space, you can see the release command. So RLSE releases the memory allocated to a data set upon its deletion. Is this statement true or false? The answer is false. Memory is freed up upon closing the data set. Moving to the next slide, that is question 11. It says, up to how many levels if then else end if statements can be nested? The answer is 15. So I have attached a Word doc here. You can open the Word doc and you can follow the JCL. You will see, if the relational expression for IF test 3 is true, that is, the highest step return code for the job is greater than 12 at the point where this statement is being processed, the system processes the then clause of IF test 3. It evaluates the relational expression of the if then else end if construct named step 1 BAD. If the step 1 BAD relational expression is true, that is, the return code is greater than 12 for either of the two steps in procedure proc1, which is invoked by step exp1, the system processes the then clause of step 1 BAD. The step 1 ERR invokes program ERRTN passing exp1 as a parameter. If the step 1 BAD relational expression is not true, the system processes the else clause for step 1 BAD. The step 2 ERR invokes program ERRTN passing exp2 as a parameter. However, if the relational expression for IF test 3 is false, the system processes the else clause. Step no prob invokes procedure run OK. Processing then continues with next step. So you can find in this example a if then else end if construct is used under another if then else end if construct. So two levels of if then else end if nesting is present here. So like this you can have up to 15 levels of if then else and if nesting. Okay, moving to the next slide. Let it come up. Okay, question 12. It says, can you use symbolic parameters in stream data? The answer is not permitted, but the site operator can alter this. So it differs from one installation to another, but in most of the installations it is not permitted. You can talk with your organization's site operator. Moving to the next slide, question 13. If a GDG generation is created in step 1 and the next step, that is step 2, abents, will the generation be created eventually? The answer is yes. In first step itself, the generation will be created, and then in the second step, the job will abent and terminate. So in the next run, you can refer the GDG version as GDG version name and then mentioning 0 within parenthesis. Moving to the next slide, question 14. It says, if a GDG version is created in first step, how will you refer the GDG version as an input in the next step? With 0 within parenthesis or +1 within parenthesis? Answer is +1 within parenthesis, because only after the job completes execution, the next version of the GDG will be created. So until and unless the job completes execution, you have to refer to the GDG version by mentioning +1 within the parenthesis. Moving to the next slide, question 15. How many maximum number of versions are allowed for a GDG base? The answer is 255. Moving to the next slide, question 16. What is the difference between force and purge commands in terms of GDG deletion? The answer is force deletes the GDG versions and the GDG base. If any of the GDG versions are set with an expiration date which is yet to expire, then those are not deleted and hence the GDG base is retained. Purge will delete the GDG versions and the GDG base irrespective of the expiration date. Moving to the next slide, question 17. In this slide, we will discuss about the most common events which we frequently encounter during our daily work with COBOL or JCL. So the question says, describe the primary causes of SE37, SB37, SD37, S806, S322, SOC7, SOC-B, SOC4 and SOC1 events. So the first one is SE37. It means end of volume and no further volume specified. So any data set which can reside on a volume is exhausted and there is no mention of any further volume in the JCL. That's why you are encountering AC37. Next one is SB37. It says secondary quantity exhausted or no secondary allocation was specified. Next is SD37. It says not enough -D available. So AC37, SB37, SD37, all three are related to space issues. Next one is S806. It means load module not found in the load library. Suppose you have misspelled your COBOL program name in the exec statement of the JCL, then it will not be found. Then you will encounter S806. So in your load library, the load of your COBOL program must be present. Next one, S322. It means timeout event. Suppose you have mentioned time parameter in the job and the job exceeds that time during execution, then you will get timeout event. Even if you have not coded the time parameter and the job exceeds the default time provided by the installation, then also you will get timeout event. Next is SOC 7. It basically occurs due to numeric operation on non-numeric data. Then is SOC B. It's division by zero error. Then comes SOC 4. It's the protection exception error. Suppose you are trying to access the memory beyond the permissible limit as per your program, then you will get this protection exception error. The next is SOC 1. It says read write performed on unopened dataset. So these were a few important interview questions for JCL. I have not discussed the utility programs here because they need to be discussed separately, as a lot of questions can be there from the utility programs, especially sort, merge, ID camps, IBGNR, etc. So I will have a separate session for the utility programs. Hope you have enjoyed the video and you have learned a lot. Thank you very much for attending the session. Happy learning, friends.
Please like and share the video if you love this update, and subscribe my channel if you have not done already. Also, do not forget to let me know your feedback in the comment box. Thanks a lot for watching, and till we meet again, bye bye from your host Tapajoti.